embrace more and more of the love that God is pouring out into us. So we got a lot to look forward to. But there's always more. And so if we're experiencing a lot of joy, that's good news, because God has more joy. I mean, one of the things we love to do is just say, like, more, Lord, more, double it. And he always can, because he's infinite and we're finite and we're never going to be able to, like, just, I don't know, just contain or be able to exhaust the goodness that God has for us. So there's that, but then also, when our joy is tested, when circumstances and situations might cause us to pull back from joy or experience less joy, that's never like the Lord saying, I want you to have less joy. He's saying, I want you to have deeper joy. I want you to have a joy that is not just surface level, but that is deep, that is stable, that is real, and that is true. And so it's always a win-win, right? If we're on highs, then that's awesome. He has more for them. And when we're experiencing difficulties, well, guess what? That's a time when he's making our roots grow deep. And we'll have a very real and true joy that'll be able to shine out of our eyes, and that'll just be an even greater witness. I think about my friend Adlen, who has just like really been on a sick bed for like the last 7 years with Lyme disease. I really believe that the Lord's going to heal it. Just keep on knocking on that door. But she is like legit a living saint. And her mom, like, she's gone through like just excruciating pain every single day for like the last 7 years. And her mom, I'll like talk to her on the phone, and she'd be like, David, she's never complained once. She's never complained once about this, right? And so, I mean, she's in a situation where, you know, it's not like a happy-go-lucky situation, but I know she's one of the most joyful and happy people I've ever met, because her happiness and her joy is founded and rooted and has its source in the Lord, not in circumstances, not in situations. It's unconditional. And so the Lord always has more. So that's wonderful. Also just another way to open ourselves up to the joy that the Lord has for us is not putting him in a box, right? It's not putting him in a box, but it's being a true child before our Father. I remember one time we were at Damascus, and Joey Horn I thought I saw, he's not here. I thought I might have. Well, there's a cousin of his, there we go, Jotham. He prayed for me, and I just started like laughing on the floor. And my daughter was like a little bit concerned, and she was like, Mom, what's happening to Daddy? And then Anna just gave her a really awesome explanation, and she's just like, oh, Jesus is just tickling Daddy. Jesus is just tickling Daddy. And she's like, that looks like fun. And you know what, right? The kingdom of heaven is for the childlike, right? And so if we're not, if we're too grown up to allow our Father in heaven to tickle us, then we're going to be missing out on so many good things that the Lord has for us, right? I mean, yeah, we want to open ourselves up as fully as possible, and just to be free, and to be, that comes from just being rooted as a child of God. When you know that you're a child of God, then you know that it doesn't really matter what other people think of you, right? It just, what matters is your heart meeting Jesus and his love, and that's all that matters. So allow yourselves to be tickled by God. I mean, the apostles, right? They say that they're fools for Christ. And once again, I mentioned David being so undignified before the Lord. I just love that. Also, another analogy, right? It's like laughing gas, right? So the Lord does some incredible things, and the gift of laughter is a real thing. And I mean, this is a environment where we're open to the Holy Spirit and what He wants to do in us. So everybody just look to your neighbor and say, look to someone, look to your neighbor and say, I give you permission for God to do whatever He wants in you, and for you to respond however you wish. In Jesus' name. All right, so you really don't need anyone's permission, but we're all in this together, is what I'm saying. And there's something really powerful when you have a gathering of people that are hungry for the Lord to move and are open to His Holy Spirit doing whatever He wants. We can just let Him do whatever He wants. Whew. So there we go. Okay, I think it's just like time for us to just transition. Oh yeah, okay, I'll just move into this. Psalm 34, verse 5. What does that say? Look to Him that you may be radiant with joy. Look to Him that you may be radiant with joy. Right? That's the number one key to joy. It's simply being with the Lord. There is no better person we can be with than Jesus. Period. And it's just being in His presence is so delightful. The Lord just gives us so much refreshment, and this is the source of our joy. So we don't need to will it or anything. It's just, if you see that joy is lacking in your life, then it just means I gotta be with Jesus more. And that's just simple, and that's easy. He's always a prayer away. He's always just a lifting up of the heart and the mind away. All right, and once again, as we discovered, worship is just so powerful in inviting the Lord to move freely, and also just inviting Him to speak. Now I guess I could just talk forever, but I think we need to move on. It's like time. Also, one other thing, gratitude, right? We know this, but we need to put it into action, right? So you cannot be lacking in joy if you're grateful for what God has done in your life and is doing in your life. So actually right now, that's one good activation that we can just transition to right now. So if you have your phone or if you have a journal, let's just collectively ask Jesus, what do you want? What should I be grateful for in my life right now? Let's just do a repeat after me. Jesus, what do you want me to be grateful for in my life right now?
What do you want me to be grateful for in my life right now?
All right, let's start writing that. Whatever He's saying, whatever He's inspiring, whatever He's calling to mind.